Hey everyone, and welcome to a special nighttime edition of Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. If you watch my show regularly, you know that this show started out of the pandemic on March 20th, 2020. It was a way to create a sense of community and connection, and having no idea that so many people would ask to be guests that I was booked like 6 months to 8 months, and I still am booked about that now. I usually air every day at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I've done 577 episodes since the pandemic began, going live one, sometimes two, even sometimes three times a day. But if you are part of what we call the Zoomunity, the people that are watching exclusively on YouTube when it's live, not afterwards in the replay or on Facebook, you know that for the last 6 days, the show must go on, but I wasn't there. And thank you to Jesse for moderating the chat. Where was I for the last week? Well, I was at a place that I consider heaven on earth, Rancho La Puerta. I've been blessed to be able to teach there a couple times a year for the last 10 years, and we are allowed to bring a guest. And my regular sous chef was not available, so I brought, he's really not a sous chef, but he did serve one just to help me this week because he is a wonderful chef in his own right, who I'm sure is going to be going back on his own to present there. If you're familiar at all with Rancho La Puerta, not Rancho La Puerta, I'm tired, we've been in the car all day, with the True North Health Center, he is the executive chef there, and his name is Chef Ramses Bravo. We often call him my brother from another mother. Now, why are we doing this broadcast at night when we're already tired? Well, I'm hungry. And my husband doesn't buy food. And when I met him, he had 2 things in his refrigerator, mustard, and I don't even know what the second thing was. He's just like, he's not a foodie. He eats to live, and it's an afterthought with him. So we're too tired to stop at the store, and I don't eat at restaurants. And I said, hey, you're a talented chef. We've done Iron Chefs together as a team in San Francisco. We've competed against each other for many years. And I said, look, I know it might not be your favorite because we're using one ingredient. He doesn't know the ingredients that I know he doesn't love, but we got to use it up. We don't want to waste. I said, look, why don't we go live? I'll pick the things that are about to go bad or that I don't know how to use, and you'll make dinner. And he was up for the challenge. Please welcome my friend, Chef Ramses Bravo.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? So yeah, we just got back from Rancho La Puerta. Apparently that was something that was on my bucket list, but I didn't even know it. It was a really awesome experience, and I'm glad I got to be Chef AJ's like 3rd or 4th choice, you know, and because she had other people that she was going to bring, but I ended up being, you know,
and it was, first of all, it wasn't that you were my 3rd choice. Okay, so I have a girl that always has Rebecca Martinez has always been my person. And I, first of all, didn't know that you were going to be able to get a week off on such short notice. And I thought you would think of it sort of as like, you know, like kind of beneath you to like assist me. So that is why. So you were technically you were the 4th person asked, just so you know. So I asked.
Well, what I'm saying is I'm glad I was the 4th choice and not the 5th choice, because then you would pick somebody else.
And it's so funny because the number said, and it wasn't as about choice. It was just, you know, about, I don't know, but you've never taken me anywhere. Oh, that is so funny. So I'm going to get ready to, guys, I can't monitor the chat tonight because I need to go in the kitchen to bring them the secret ingredients. So talk to the live wonderful audience, and I'm going to be right there with the secret ingredients.
All right. So we went last Friday. We took off. No, I'm sorry. I came here last Friday, and then we went Saturday morning. And I really didn't know what to expect. She was telling me about this. She's been telling me about Rancho La Puerta for many years. She kept saying how great it was, and there's all these things you do, and yada yada. So I was thinking, well, you know, it's probably some regular resort kind of thing. And when we arrived there, it was truly a wonderful experience. And being that I was a guest, I didn't have to really pay, so that was even more awesome. But we did hiking. I hiked every day. I went to the gym. I swam around the laps in the pool. I did aerial yoga, which is like you're in this hammock hanging from the air kind of a thing, stretching. And I did waterboard yoga. So it's all these boards that they link together with bungee cords in the pool. And then you got to stand up on it and, do all these yoga poses. And problem is that, as all these people are linked together, if somebody falls, then it makes everybody else shake. And, usually one person falls and there's a couple other people that go down as well. And it was just a really fun, wonderful experience, because for me, what I got out of it was all the exercise that I was doing. I try to stay pretty fit, doing something once a day. But over there, I was doing like 3 things a day, 3 workouts, 3 something. So anyways, here she comes.
Anyway, he was the perfect roommate, except that he snores. Other than that, he was like perfect. Okay, so guys, here are the secret ingredients. Well, they're not secret. They're
Tell me
not.
This is not.
Yeah, it's millet. He hates millet, but here's the thing. I do not like to waste. And so I had some cooked millet. It's fine. So I think it's probably about 2 cups of cooked millet.
She tried to feed me this on Friday. I'm like, well, I don't want that. And now she's making me use
I had
it.
4 turnips. I have no idea what to do with these plantains. So I said, do something. And these beets are almost at expiration date. So he is required. He can use anything he finds in my pantry, anything he might have brought in his knapsack for treats. He can use anything, but he must use these 4 ingredients in a significant way. And as an extra bonus challenge, I came home to this wonderful, beautiful care package gift from Chef Darshana Thacker from Forks Over Knives. I don't know if anybody knows what this is, let me know, because it's like beautiful. Maybe it's a wall hanging, but she sent me all these spices. Now I haven't been able to reach her, but I think they're homemade because they have a really cute label, and he can use, and I'm guessing they're salt-free because she knows I don't eat salt, but she sent me this something called Indian Spice Blend. I have a feeling she made these. Lacadoma turmeric mix. I'll have to show her this video. Harissa spice. And don't these look homemade just because it's in a ball jar?
Yeah, because she's got,
And it looks like a mild Cajun blend. So I have a feeling she made these, and taco seasoning. He doesn't have to use all of them, but he has to use one of them. So now what I need to do is turn the camera around and start filming him. Okay, there we go. Watch his process.
I got a taste to see the flavoring here. We got taco seasoning. I'm sure that's good, but I'm going to skip that.
So one of the reasons we do this, guys, is because this can happen to you. You get home from work late, you get home from a trip, and you don't have time to really look at a recipe. And I want you guys to learn that you can pretty much take anything and make something delicious. All my great recipes were formed by doing that, not because I was thinking about them. They were done usually in an Iron Chef. And I do apologize. I can't talk to you guys. I mean, I can talk to you, but I can't see the chat when I'm filming, but I can check it out later. Hopefully you're enjoying this. What do you think that is?
So this is what's labeled as that Indian spice blend, which tastes similar to something that I use. So there's definitely cumin and coriander in here, mustard seed. I'm going to guess that there's some turmeric in here a little bit, but there's also a couple of herbs. It's got this sort of lemony kind of flavor, which is what I'm drawn to. So I'm going to use that one. And we should ask her.
Yeah, I texted her. She hasn't answered.
Okay.
I also, on the way home, we stopped in a place called Westmoreland because they had vegan date shakes without sugar. And I bought this bottle of pomegranate molasses. I've never used it until my class. And Shada always cooks with it. And I thought that might be a fun thing to have. It was, what, I think $7 was it? It wasn't too bad.
Let's try this.
Hey, Charles.
Oh boy, oh, that was tight.
You know what? If Charles will hold the camera, I can actually go back to the computer and chat with you guys and see how you've been. I've missed you guys. Thanks for watching the show when I was gone. Hey, Charles, if you're not busy, if you could hold the camera, I can go back and chat. Would you be able to? I'm just kind of holding it
It's
here.
not too sweet. I thought it was going to be like really.
Is it thick and syrupy though?
Yeah.
There we go.
Just 100% pomegranate juice. So I'll use those.
If you need anything, let me know. Make yourself at home.
Well, I recently did something for my own my YouTube channel, using making a, what do we call it, quinoa bread, using plantains and quinoa. So I'm gonna hope and pray that this will sort of work using millet. So I'm gonna take 3 of these. I'm gonna stick them in the microwave real quick just to get that frosting. As you can see, they're still sort of icy. So I'm gonna try to make some form of a patty kind of a thing. So let's see. I just want to soften these up. I don't want to cook them at all. So I'm gonna guess that if I, okay, 3 minutes, they're not gonna be in there for 3 minutes. I'll put them in there for like 30 seconds again, just to try to get them soft, so that when I incorporate the millet, they'll sort of stick together, which is what I'm hoping for. So let's say 20 seconds, and I'll check them. And they're still a little awkward, so just a little bit longer. Start, there we go. So I just want to be able to incorporate the millet and just sort of get that sticky texture from those plantains. AJ buys a lot of her stuff like already pre-packaged and cooked because she likes making a lot of quick and easy meals. Whereas I would have roasted these myself. There we go. So now if I hold them, I can sort of squeeze them by hand, as you can see. So now that's going to give me the texture that I'm looking for. Okay. And now I will incorporate the millet in here.
Hey, Ramses, Judy is asking if you could show a picture of the plantains that you opened the package.
Yeah, where did I? Here we go. This is Trader Joe's. So she buys a lot of stuff at Trader Joe's. AJ does.
It's a great store.
I don't shop at Trader Joe's because they do their aisles, at least the one that I've been to in my area. The aisles are like in a diagonal. So, you know, if the building is like a rectangle, the diagonal sort of make it seem like you're going round and round in circles and not able to escape. So, okay. I don't like millet. What did you cook this in, AJ?
What did I cook the millet in? I cooked it in cooked it in a rice cooker.
Cooked with water?
Yeah, just water. Is it too mushy or too dry?
It's dry. I don't particularly like millet because it's tastes like cardboard. But a deal is a deal. Since she brought me in as her guest, she said, "Hey, you know, what if when we get back, you make dinner because Charles is not going to go to the store?" I said, "Sure, do it." Never thinking that she was going to give me millet to work with.
I just hate to waste, you know. There's got to be a way that you can learn to like millet, though.
So here's what I'm looking for. So if I can make a patty out of this, then look, I can make a patty now. So that's about what I'm looking for. So let's say that my mix is sort of ready. Now I got to figure out what else I'm going to do here. And actually, you know what? Since we took on this challenge, I'm going to incorporate more millet here. And this is where I'm going to use the pomegranate molasses. So by adding more millet, I know that it was gonna be, the texture was gonna end up being too dry. So I'm picking up that extra moisture that I need with the molasses. And I'm doing this because I'm trying to give that millet some flavor. So again, I'm gonna check a little bit just for flavor. Oh, well, actually add a little bit more. I do like that pomegranate. So we stopped at the store. What was that town called?
Westmoreland, California.
Westmoreland. So it's this sort of town that if you blink your eyes, you know, you go by the 2 stoplights and then you're no longer there. But they had this huge store where they sold balsamic vinegars and pomegranate things and a lot of dates. Date by the pound, by the 5-pounder, by the 20-pounder. So that's where we got that. Oh. So my thinking right now is that I have this patties that I'll be cooking, but they have a sweet flavor to them. By themselves, I wouldn't eat too many of these because it's just sweet. So now I'm going to try to incorporate that Indian spice here somehow with the rest of the stuff, which is turnips. So I'm just going to turnip. So what I did was I show you another one. I cut the top off. I cut the bottom. And then I'm able to lay the turnip flat, and then I'm gonna go around it with the knife. And correct me if I'm wrong, AJ, last time I was here in your house and you had me do another sort of mystery ingredient thing, there was turnips in it too, wasn't there?
Yeah, you made some kind of a turnip puree.
Okay. So let's not make turnip puree this time. Oh, I think you had frozen yams, or was it corn? I can't remember.
We'd have to watch it. I think it was probably yams or sweet potatoes, knowing me.
Sweet potato. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a frozen fire roasted sweet potatoes that I did with that turnip puree. Okay. So let's see. How do I want to cut this? Also, I have some beets I gotta use. Okay. And you said I can use anything else you have, right?
Yeah, or if you brought anything in your suitcase, anything you like. I'm not trying to make it hard for you. I'm just trying to use up stuff before it goes bad.
I'll get them in a second. I have a little bit of peanuts that I brought because I was prepared to go on all these hikes over at Rancho La Puerta. I didn't even eat them.
And you can't use peanuts at True North, right?
Right. It's sort of my secret stash because I can't use them at True North because of by orders of my boss, Dr. Goldhammer. I think he's allergic and that's why he doesn't allow me to use them. So I'm gonna get my secret stash here in just a second. And I will say thank you that you let me take a short nap with Bailey before we did this because I was tired.
Yeah. Well, you did the driving, so thank you. We're going to post that adorable picture of Ramses napping with Bailey on Instagram and Facebook very soon.
Because originally I was going to say, yeah, sure. You know, the moment we get back, we'll cook something. But that was, you know, all those hikes every day. Today it was just a mellow, you know, pretty flat, 4 miles, you know, 2 miles to the place we went and 2 miles back. But the day before it was a 7 mile up to the mountain. So that really wore me out. Okay, so I have turnips here. Now I'm getting a paper towel because I'm gonna get these beets out. And first thing is I'm going to drain them into the sink. I don't want that juice all over the place. And I can see the value of somebody deciding to buy beets already cooked because they do take a long time. So, you know, where I work, we cook them pretty much daily. You don't have much color anymore. Let me double check.
There's some, I hope they're okay. If they're not, there's some frozen beets in the freezer.
Yeah, they're still good. They're just old and they've lost a red color. So they're like this faded burgundy now. But they're still good.
Good.
So let's see.
Wanna come up, Bailey? Bailey wants to say hi to the gang. Come
Okay.
here.
I'm gonna check the pantry door real quick.
Thank you guys for watching while we were gone. I mean, I had the show air the exact same time. I pre-recorded. Yeah, look at Bailey with her butterfly bows. That was the hardest part about being away. What? You know, the sad thing in Mexico, I mean, where we go is beautiful, but they don't treat dogs like we do here. They're either roaming in the streets or the ones that are pets. They're never touched or loved. They're just, oh, it's so sad. You're very lucky you live in the United States, you know that? Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna use every one of these, but I'm looking for a spicy component to this whole thing. So you have some chipotle flakes, chili flakes, which are probably good. They're hard though. What about, there we go. Beautiful. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna add a touch of here. Just a hint of chipotle powder to this. And also a little bit of thyme. Now I'm trying to get more seasoning into the patties themselves. So grab a spoon here real quick. I think what has happened is the millet has absorbed some of the moisture. So I don't think this is gonna hold up as a patty as much. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of that pomegranate molasses. And I'm just making this up as I go, okay?
They're gonna ask for the recipe and it's like, I don't know. We're winging it.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But if you have any questions from the audience, you know, I'd love to hear.
Let's see. See if you guys have any. Thank you, Jesse. They love Bailey's bows. Oh, Diane, where were you in class on Thursday? I still did my comedy from I was able to do that from Mexico. And if you like my Lazy Susan, I think it's a 20% discount at Kitchen where I got it. And they have one that's even prettier now, that style, but in a light blue. And Julie says, I love the way Chef Ramses explains his meal prep tips. And Susan says, love this assignment and challenge. And oh, Judy's at True North right now. Oh, so that means you're missing Ramses.
Oh,
They're
tell him
my
I'll be
friends.
back soon.
He'll be back soon. Hopefully you'll still be there.
Okay, so now I've tasted the mixture again, and it has that sweetness, but it's got just that small hint of spicy, which is, if you heard me explain cooking and food, I always like to have contrast of flavors so that in this case, the sweet and the spicy bounce off each other nicely, because you've all heard sweet and spicy something before. So that's a combination that has worked for many, many hundreds of years. And so I'm just borrowing the idea using the ingredients that Chef AJ gave me, including millet. So.
Oh no, Judy says your class was canceled today. There was nobody to do it. Hey, Shirley, I haven't seen you in a while.
Is today Friday? I don't even.
It is Friday, but you know, in Mexico, when you're on at Rancho, every day is Saturday.
Yeah, I kind of lost track of time.
Wow, Judy did an 8-day fast. That's congratulations. I've never
Good for
fasted.
you, Judy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roast the veggies now in the pan. So I'm letting the pan heat up first. So I'm going to get a nice roasted sort of thing going on. And while that happens, I'm going to see what else I can raid from your refrigerator. So
It's pretty bare, isn't it? Charles is not one to fill it up.
What we got here? Oh, I use this.
What'd you find? Some carrots?
Some cabbage and some carrots.
Cool. We got those. He did buy those. He went to the Winco. Which is a wonderful store if you have one near you.
Perfect. Okay. So now I'm gonna grab my I got some roasted unsalted peanuts that I had with me. Again, I was expecting some big, calorie replenishment on those hikes, but I never even used them.
Are you going to use the peanuts like in the burger? Is that how you're going to use it?
That's what I originally thought, but I don't think I need them in the burger. As I'm as I'm going along, I'm trying to change my plan here a little bit. So I'm going to have the veggies. I'm going to roast them, and I'm going to use that wonderful Indian spice that you got from Dashana. And then I'm going to put the burger on top of that. And then I'm going to do like a little slaw thing over the top with the peanuts. So at this point of the sort of planning, now I'm trying to visualize the plate of how I want to plate it and how to build it up. Because as a chef, you always want to get height out of your food.
You always want to get height. That's interesting.
Yeah, because you don't want a plate that's sort of flat. You want to build it up. So I'm dropping the turnips into the dropping the turnips into the wok here. And I just want to get them roasted. Now, turnips by themselves, they're not like carrot hard. They're like a step below that, sort of like a al dente cooked carrot. So if we just provide a little bit of heat to them, then they'll be even softer than that. So I can eat turnips raw myself, but we're gonna give them a little bit of cooking, soften them up a little bit. I'm gonna almost fold the beets there at the very end, because I don't want them to start bleeding all over the place. If I was putting this dish myself, I would not necessarily use beets because of the color. The flavor will go great in it because it's going to have this sort of sweetness together with the earthy, the savory flavor here of the turnips. But with red beets, you always worry about the bleeding of the color. So now you see, because I preheated the pan and I just laid them there and let them be for about a minute, you start to see that nice roasted look to it. So I'll keep an eye on that. And in the meantime,
Have you ever roasted turnips or air fried them? They're really good.
I haven't because I don't have an air fryer.
Well, I'll give you one of mine, but how are you going to get it home on the plane?
I use this big mug as a little mixing bowl.
Diane has never heard of WinCo. It's an acronym for Washington, Idaho, Nevada, California, and Oregon, I think. And it is a bulk store, but it's not like it's just amazing. Boy, they have organic and they have everything I need. It's really cheap. It's incredible. So here's a question for you from Randy. What is your most requested dish?
I think the lasagna I get a lot of requests for, and we make a couple different ones over at True North. So we make the sort of the traditional marinara flavored lasagna, and then I also make a basil mushroom lasagna, and they're both big hits with the crowd. So either or.
That's why Ramses doesn't like it when I'm there, because my roast requested is a roasted Hannah yam with some broccoli. And he said, I didn't go to culinary school for people like you.
All right. So I got my turnips nice and roasted. They're plain in flavor. We did caramelize a little bit of that natural sugar. But now I have this hot pan, and I've evaporated the moisture out of the turnip. So this is the perfect environment to add my spice. And along with incorporating it into the turnips, I'm also toasting the spice at the same time. Anytime you toast your spices, you're going to get more flavor out of them. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. So now I get the aroma from the spices sort of coming up. And can you smell it, Charles?
Yes.
Ramses, question from Christy. What is your favorite vegan dish? I guess maybe to eat, I'm thinking, instead of maybe to make, or you can answer it both ways.
Say again the question.
What is your favorite vegan dish?
Oh, I don't have a favorite dish of any sort of type. I always tell people that's like asking an accountant, what's your favorite number?
Oh,
And the answer is like, you need all of them. Usually, the thing I want to eat the most today is something that I did not eat yesterday. Unlike AJ, I need like constant variety of what I eat. And I know that you can eat like sort of the same meal for multiple days. Because like one of your favorite things to eat is a baked sweet potato. And I love baked sweet potatoes, but if I ate a baked sweet potato yesterday, I don't necessarily want a baked sweet potato today. Check that. seasoning here real quick. Yum. Okay. So my favorite dish is something I haven't had in the last couple days.
See, that's funny because if I had it yesterday and it was good, then I want it again today.
Well, I mean, I see the logic, and for a lot of people that works because they don't necessarily want to be in the kitchen again for, you know, a certain amount of time. I guess for me, the advantage of being a chef is I'm in the kitchen as part of my job. So I have the ability to make different things every day. And it's not only an ability, but sort of a requirement. If I was an accountant or something like that, then maybe I think, this is, a lot of work to go through every single day. So then maybe, I would be okay with doing batch cooking. There we go. One for you, one for me, and one for Charles. Everybody gets a millet burger. And I'm gonna have the little one because I don't like millet.
There's a question for me. Charles, you can answer this too. Stephanie says she sees an aqua true. Do we like it? And yeah, we like it. It doesn't hold a lot. We also have a Berkey in the laundry room. I don't know, Charles, do you have any thoughts on water filters? They both were gifts.
Well, I like Berkey because it doesn't take any electricity. The other one you need to plug in, and it's just a little more complicated. I mean, they're both good, but I like the Berkey a little more.
Berkey was a gift from a live viewer, and the AquaTrue was a gift from Toby.
Let's see. Indian spice over here. So I'm going to use a little bit more of that Indian spice. And ideally, I should have toasted it a little bit. Saved some side to go into the dressing here, into the slaw that I'm going to use on the top. But it has pretty good flavor on its own. My guess is that Dashana actually toasted the spices before she ground them and made them for you, AJ.
Well, she's a real chef, so she must have.
She must have, yeah.
Not like me, I'm a lazy chef. Hey, Shirley wants to know, do you have any books?
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
I think she was probably asking if I've written any books, and the answer to that is yes. My books are Bravo Cookbook and Bravo Express. I was going to be a smart ass and say, of course, I have about 60 books that I own. But I think that's probably what she's asking. Okay, so I'm using the wok here, which has got this non-stick surface. Normally, I would do this in the oven, ideally, but I didn't know that this was what I was going to make. So had the oven been on and hot, I would have put them in a pan, like a baking pan with some parchment paper or a silk pad, and baked them. But we're going to give this non-stick. Look, it actually works. So we're going to give this a try. And who knows, maybe
it'll make a millet lover out of you yet.
I guess.
It says so many
I have a question. Where did you get your wood utensils here? They're nice.
All gifts from Tammy Kramer. So it was either Amazon or a local place. I want to take you to that kitchen store tomorrow where we can get a 20% discount. But that particular rainbow one you're using was from the local college swap meet, which isn't going to open for probably a couple of months. But if you want it, I can probably find it for you.
Oh, no, it's nice. I like the design. Cool. Okay, so now we got the nice browning on one side. I'm going to flip them over, and I'll fill in the time by grabbing some plates here. I don't think I grabbed enough. So I have. Okay. So I'm actually gonna plate here by the stove. All right. So I'm bringing all the stuff that I want. And I'm gonna grab a little bit more of this, a little bit more of this, just in case. And I'm gonna go very quick here. Like I said, had this been the ideal situation, I would have, let's see, put them all in one. I would have cooked this in the oven.
It's Samuel, Chef Bravo right now isn't booked for True North in August with me. I'm taking Rebecca, my sous chef, but if she can't go, he will be moved up to number 2 on the list from number 4. And Barb says, where do I sign up for Chef Ramses to cook my dinner? We should do some kind of fundraiser where you actually go to the person's house.
I have such a long list of people wanting to take me to their homes in Alaska and Idaho and Florida and New York, and it's a long waiting list for that.
Yeah, it's so funny. Radhika says my makeup is beautiful, and the funny thing is I'm obviously have.
She put on a hat to cover her
Yeah,
hair.
the only thing, honestly,
She
one
just
day we're
slapped some
gonna.
lipstick on.
Literally, the only thing I have is the Becca Backlight Primer, and I'm so bummed because Becca is going out of business, and how much can I buy up? And I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I have Becca and lipstick. That's it. Because I have a hat on. There's something going on that I didn't have time to spruce it up. But thank you.
Okay, so what I did really quick was I used the residual heat on the pan here to reheat the turnips. So now I've got my burger there on top. And I don't know if the camera can catch it. This looks good. It's got that nice roasted look kind of thing, but it's dry. So I thought the slaw would add a little bit of.
That is a great idea. Hey, so here's a question from, who's it from? From
I'm
Randy.
using the pomegranate molasses, sorry, AJ, and a little bit more of the that Indian spice as the dressing for the slaw that's going to go on top.
Thank you.
So now you can see how.
And guys, all his books are SOS free. And yes, he's still working at True North. He's just on vacation. I think we have to.
I did not quit True North to come work for AJ.
I bet I'd be nicer at Boston, Dr. Goldhammer.
Albert is great. He always says yes to whatever request I have. And he just lets me work.
Nice. No, I'm kidding. We love Dr. Goldhammer, but he doesn't let you sleep with his dog. All right. So Randy says, what might you cook for a group of kids that are 4 to 6 years old?
What was the question again?
What might you cook for a group of kids that are 4 to 6 years old?
I wouldn't necessarily cook for them. I would cook with them. The trick for kids is to involve them in the process, and then whatever it is, they'll actually eat. So if you get the kids to get their hands dirty, they will go along with whatever diet. But it's when you put something in front of them and say, well, here's dinner, and they're like, I don't want that. All right, so now I'm just adding a little bit more flavor because I added a little bit of that pomegranate thing as part of the sauce. I'm sprinkling just a touch more of that chipotle. So, I'm trying to compensate because I'm adding more sweetness to the plate. I'm also adding more spicy to the plate so that overall the flavors again come together and they contrast each other nicely. And I think I was a little short on this one. There we go. And that's about it. That's about it. I like this dish, other than the beets being old and sort of dark looking.
Do you want to taste it in front of the people? I mean,
Sure.
Charles is behind the camera, so, and I can't. leave because I
let
wouldn't
me
be able to
grab
eat
my-
it all, yes.
The small portion of the of the millet. So instead of millet, I would use quinoa or rice. And then the beets would be freshly roasted. Good. I mean, it is the old, true, and tried combination of sweet and spicy. This may look like something that just sort of popped out of nowhere, but somebody came up with sweet and spicy a long time ago, and it will always work.
Wow, that looks incredible. Stephanie, the drizzle over the top was the pomegranate molasses we bought today in a cute little store in Westmoreland. And the answer to the question, Samuel, when the last time somebody cooked for me was Wednesday night, when 11 people made dinner for me using my recipes at the cooking school at Rancho La Puerta. Jamie says that came together pretty fast. Yeah, it did.
Okay,
Excellent.
so the peanuts in there provide a little bit of crunch. So aside from doing contrasting flavors, I also like to do contrasting textures and colors. So I thought using the peanuts would be good in there because of the crunchy factor that I didn't really have, because the termites were going to be soft, the beets were going to be soft, the burgers were going to be soft. So the crunchy of the peanuts works really well in there. The texture of the slaw itself, aside from the peanuts, it's got this sort of chewy kind of thing. So texture-wise, it's a nice combination. And there's just enough moisture in there from everything to make it so that it's not like, oh my God, I gotta chew so much, because there's no moisture in there. It's just the right amount. And then the that lovely Indian spice is just the background. It doesn't come forward, but it gives me this long finish of like, oh yeah, sweet and spicy. And then I have no idea how many things she put in there, but it's delicious, and it just gives me a nice long finish to this. It's pretty good, actually. Oh, turn it on for it.
We'll have to ask Darshana, maybe that's something she's coming up with, like if they're going to sell through Forks Over Knives.
Maybe. So I hope you guys give this a try. Pretty much everything came from Trader Joe's, except the carrots and the cabbage came from what's the store called? Winco?
Winco.
But I'm sure you can find carrots and cabbage at Trader Joe's as well. So
Mandy says, what could we use instead of peanuts? Maybe like sesame seeds?
you could use sesame seeds. Really, the peanuts are there for the crunchy. So cashews, pine nuts would have been like actually the perfect nut to use, but I didn't have pine nuts.
Oh, pine nuts are too expensive. I couldn't buy those.
Well, I'm just saying what would the
Yeah.
perfect nut in here would be.
Perfect.
But you can certainly use walnuts, pecans even. Yep.
Somebody suggesting roasted chickpeas if they were allergic to walnuts.
Walnuts, yeah, you could do that, absolutely. So
Nice.
roasted chickpeas will have that crunchy effect.
Yeah. Well, I think you actually like it because you wouldn't have to, I only asked you to taste it. You're actually eating it, which means it must be pretty good.
Well, I don't taste the millet, so.
That's good. Well, great. It looks amazing. Guys, try this in your own house. Take a few things that you're getting ready to give up on and see what you can make. That's the fun of cooking, if you ask me. What does my shirt say? It says, no meat, no problem. It was a gift from Robert Cheek, who is now a New York Times bestselling author. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, because we're going to be doing some more videos while he's here, and some of them might be pre-recorded, not live. So thank you guys so much for being here for impromptu one. We have our regular show tomorrow at 11 a.m. And my guest is Dr. Jessica Cranton. Whenever we have a doctor on, people love to ask questions. So please make sure you're on YouTube because it's really hard to see your comments on Facebook because I have to jump screen. Thank you so much, Jessie, for monitoring the chat while I was gone. I hope you enjoyed the shows. We got a lot of good feedback on them. We try to have a diverse array of guests on the show that you'll enjoy. And I think there's something for everybody. So any last thoughts, Chef Bravo?
Yeah, for you guys, plantains have this great sort of mushy texture that make a great ingredient to make burgers. It has that perfect sweetness, which you can play off of. But the texture itself lends really well to making those patties. If you don't have plantains, you've never worked with them, you don't have them, and Trader Joe's is out that one day. Sweet potatoes, baked sweet potatoes will also work. It'll give you that sort of mushy kind of thing that by itself is too soft to make into a patty. But then you add a grain or a grain-like item such as millet or quinoa. And that's how you can get your sort of the texture just right. So again, this could have been plantains or sweet potatoes. This could have been millet, quinoa, rice, wild rice. You can play with all sorts of combinations with that. So it doesn't have to be always the same thing every time. So I thought that might be important for people to know.
Right, that's great. Grains are interchangeable. Guys, I just put a link to my free webinar Sunday morning. If you struggle with sugar, you can kick it. And Maria says, are these ripe plantains? These were frozen plantains from Trader Joe's.
They were frozen, but the bags that they were pre-steamed, so they were already cooked.
Great. Judy says, hurry up and come back to True North. Samuel
Okay.
Felicia says, we love Chef Bravo. Okay.
You could use raw plantains if they were completely ripe. So if they're completely ripe, they'll be nice and soft like that. So you could use them raw as well.
Great. Well, I'd love to see if you can get Mauricio on the show sometime. I've been asking him for like, I don't know, 10 years now.
You have to get Shada. Shada will make him come on the show.
Yes, that'll be great. All right. Well, thanks so much, Chef.
All right. Thank you, JJ.
All right, and thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please register for my free Kick Sugar webinar this Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. There is a link in the chat. And please come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'll be back for you every single day at 11 a.m. Pacific time with wonderful guests. And tomorrow is plant-based dermatologist, Dr. Jessica Grant. Thanks, guys.